Strange things are afoot at the Circle K. We're jumping in a phone booth on this all-new episode, looking to have a most awesome experience, maybe a cool escapade, or perhaps a great affair. You know what? We're definitely going to need a better title there, dudes. Hello, and welcome to Totally 80s and 90s Recall. This is a podcast where we'll dive into everything the radical decades of the 1980s and 90s through our way, from Cabbage Patch dolls and Beanie Babies to acid wash jeans and flannel shirts. If you're new to the show, it's awesome that you've joined us today. And for our returning listeners and subscribers, it's great to have you back. I am one of your hosts, David, joined by the most triumphant Ziggy Piggy champion I know. It is my good friend, Rob.
Ziggy Piggy. I want to just take usually last couple times we've done this together, we have a letter but sometimes I just have streams of consciousness and I write them down. Okay. So, I wanted to share something with you that all our lives, Dave, Kurt, and I have wanted to fly like the birds that you see way up in the sky, making circles in the morning sun. They're flying high in the sky until the day is done. Like a child in his fantasy, punching holes in the walls of reality. All our lives, we've wanted to fly, but sadly, we don't have the wings, and we wonder. Now, we all know 1 is 1, 2 is 2, black is black, and white is white. So come out in the middle between day and night. So if you walk away from today's episode hearing nothing and you're feeling like you can't break away, we want to pass along a little saying our mothers told us when we were young. Our mothers would say, "Stand tall. You're number one. You can't be what you want to, but you can change the course of your destiny."
Oh,
there you go.
You came up with that?
No, absolutely.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Where did you come up with that?
We should have a. If anybody can
identify it. I'm usually right on the wavelength.
Yeah, and I'm not going to tell you.
I'm not.
No.
Kurt.
I got
nothing this time.
There were a couple hints in there.
You've
outsmarted us again.
Yeah.
You've outsmarted us again, Bond. So, all right. Well, great hello, even though Kurt and I are, what did we say? Stumped. All right. And back by popular demand, since I've already mentioned his name a couple times, fresh from trashing Oshman Sporting Goods.
That's right.
It is the movie hound, Kurt. Oh, man. So exciting.
Alrighty, I'm back again.
Oh, dude. Let's back.
No one cheers when I come in.
Well, that's to be expected.
Right. That's fine.
You do enough cheering for yourself, sir.
Apparently they already know. No one cheers for me like I do.
That's right.
That's right.
That is correct.
He was a dick.
I don't think that was timed very well.
No, I think it was perfect.
Jerk.
Oh, we're starting already.
Yes.
This is good. So as you said,
So how was your week, Kurt?
it was a great week.
Yes.
I had a week.
Why was it a great week?
Well, we're getting close to the end of the school year.
Yeah.
Things are wrapping
You
up.
know, the last 3 times I've asked Rob how his week was, same answer. Okay, close to the school year.
Well, for the last 2 months, teachers will say that.
Yes.
Well, it's getting close to the end. It's testing time. We're almost done.
And how was your week, Rob?
Same
week.
Yeah. We're barely going to make it out alive.
Barely going to make it out alive. That's
poor Rob, being an administrator, has to work longer than me.
He does.
I do.
Yeah,
That's
you've
too
only
bad.
got like
It's
2
all right.
weeks left.
That's why we make the big bucks.
I have 9 3/4 days left,
Yes.
in case anybody's counting.
No one was. Literally no listener was like, I wonder how many days Kurt has left until
That is
summer
right.
vacation.
Until he just lays on the couch in his underwear all summer long.
Wow, my goodness.
Picture it, ladies and gentlemen. This.
They don't want to. That's gross.
That's great.
That is what my wife says.
No, just lay in front of the AC
Legs open to get the air.
We went wrong somewhere.
As you said, strange things are afoot here in the studio.
This week. That is correct. So, well, we already talked about it offline. Rob and Kurt heard it, but my son and I attended the Pearl Jam concert.
Yeah.
We're still multiple concerts behind the real concert goer over here,
That
Rob.
is correct.
Yeah.
But because he's gone so many times.
Yeah.
We just went the once here in Seattle this week. And, we were talking about how it was a great concert. And what I really appreciated was, since everybody, as I said, it looks like they're in that 45 to 60 year old range. My whole section I was in sat for the whole concert. And I was so thankful.
So much easier on your knee.
Yeah, I couldn't even. And other things I appreciated, they started on time. They ended at a decent hour so I could get some rest because I was really tired. So, So I appreciate that they know the age of their audience.
That's right.
So, but yeah, our section sat. Other sections were standing, but our section sat. I looked around and they were all kind of like, I can enjoy this in my seats. So I appreciated that.
That is what age helps you with.
yes.
You can enjoy it standing or sitting.
Yeah, it was
By
great.
the time you hit your 40s, you're like, you know what, I'm going to sit.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
concert.
the two Canada shows we stood the whole time.
Oh.
And then Portland, we got to sit. So
Well, the
How
Canadians
good was
have
that?
better
It
health
was-
care, so they
it
can
was good.
stand longer.
It was good.
And the
But
sitting,
the
which one
Portland
was
show,
better?
the Portland show, they didn't start until like 9 or something like that.
Oh,
And I remember
wow.
people online were like, "Do they not know their target audience? We got to get to bed."
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I told Connor, and it was funny. I told him, and there were these people behind us, probably around my age. Like there were 4 or 5 of them together, and it looks like they all came as a group. And I leaned over to Connor, and I was like, "I bet they don't start till X time." That was my guess, and I was about right. So concert started 7:30. Opening act comes on. They came out 8:45. I said 8:45, 9. That was my guess.
Yeah.
And then I said behind him, I said, "You know what should be happening?" I said, "If they were smart and knew us, this would start about 4:30."
yeah.
And then I could get home. And the whole back row just started laughing behind me. And this one lady's like, "Absolutely, that'd be great."
We were having a similar conversation in line when we were waiting at the merch tent. And one of the shirts was a, I'm not going to say it was a crop top, but it was a shorter shirt.
Did you get that shirt?
No. And
You
we were all talking about how the target audience
Yes.
It's not a crop top.
is not
audience.
a crop top audience.
It's a dad bod audience.
We're like,
It's a dad
they
bod
just need to take that off their option. We're not,
It's
know.
great.
I know.
I think you should have got it.
I
think it would
I
look
thought
good.
about it.
You'd be walking down the streets of Sunnyside. You look good.
Or people would be like, "Put some clothes on.
No one would ever say that. So, all right.
We're going streaking."
Well, if you can take a second to put a regular shirt back on, Rob, why don't you fill our fans in on what topic we're covering for this week's episode?
We're covering 1989's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Felt like a good time to hit that button, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent!
Yes. So this is 35 years, right?
So shut your mouth.
1989. So 35
Shut
years.
your mouth.
Ooh, we like that, right?
As we were just
Naughty.
talking about how we love to sit during concerts.
And watch. So this is the 35th anniversary of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And before we jump in, let's travel back to 1989 and roll that original theatrical trailer.
Now, a motion picture so grand, so magnificent, and so vast, it spans 7,000 years.
No way! Yes way!
But it starts with Bill
I'm Bill S. Preston!
Who was Joan of Arc, and Ted,
Noah's wife? We're in danger of flunking most heinously tomorrow.
a force from the future,
Can we go anywhere we want at any time?
You can do anything you want.
is putting history at their fingertips.
Let's reach out and touch someone.
They're traveling through time,
How's it going, Royal Ugly Dudes?
Put them in the Iron Maiden.
Excellent!
Execute them.
Bogus! How's it going, dude?
Faites-les dérouler.
and they're making a big impression.
Historical babes.
Now they're home
Everybody get together, remember who your buddy is.
to trash the 20th century.
You got a live one here.
Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, Napoleon,
We're from history.
Billy the Kid. Oh my God. Joan of Arc. Sigmund Freud.
Tell me about your mother.
You a musician?
Beethoven.
Genghis Khan!
Abraham Lincoln,
Party on, dudes!
Socrates, George Carlin,
We're history.
If you guys are really us, what number are we thinking of?
69, dudes!
Bill and Ted's
Excellent! Excellent!
Excellent Adventure.
Party on, dude.
Now, I wouldn't say I'm in charge of any movie trailering editing thing, but they really give a lot of the movie away in the trailer.
There's not much left on the bone.
Yeah, it's like when you go to that, you watch the trailer, you're like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty much everything they said. And I also like that they introduce Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter; those are your stars. And then usually you introduce, so whoever gets top billing, then you say the name of the movie. Well, it was Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, Napoleon, then they did the name of the movie. So he got third billing, Napoleon.
Yeah.
And that's not Napoleon, it's a guy.
Just a guy.
He didn't even get his real name said. It's just Napoleon's. Well, exciting trailer. Gives you lots of ideas, I guess, of what this movie's about. So thinking about this movie, looking back 35 years or whenever it was the first time you saw it, what do you remember about seeing this movie for the first time?
I will say, watching this movie back, I can think back going, I liked the movie originally, but it wasn't one of my favorites.
Oh.
But coming back to it, I've really enjoyed it a lot more.
You've gotten older and wiser and decided now I really like this movie
And
more.
I don't know if it's whether I didn't get jokes the first time being a 9-year-old,
maybe.
10-year-old, and now I do, or if I just didn't pay close attention because rewatching, I saw lots of stuff in the background that I was like, oh, that's awesome, or oh, I get that now.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, like 80% of the jokes are for 9 and 10-year-olds.
I might have been too advanced at that time, so I
you're
didn't get
too
it.
smart.
I
got you.
I couldn't be bothered with that sort of nonsense.
You're
But now that I'm older,
Drinking milk
nonsense.
out of a cup, sipping cup with an ascot. This is nonsense.
Get this tomfoolery away from me.
That's right.
Can we watch Dances with
Yes.
Wolves?
Yes, Tatanka.
The you need the PBS News Hour.
Yeah, that's what you need. NPR.
That's funny.
What about you, Rob?
I just remember how being on the playground and we would quote this movie, and we were Bill and Ted. We would all try to act like them and say,
Were you Bill or Ted?
I don't know.
Which one did you? Who do you identify with more?
Probably Ted.
Oh, okay.
I see you more of a Bill.
Bill.
No,
Yeah.
I think I'm the Bill.
I think.
If we were a thing, I think I'm the Bill.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
You're more the brains of the operation.
Are we? Is that
what we're saying about Bill? He's the brains of the
operation.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting take.
Yeah,
that we think Bill's the brains of the operation.
Well,
that's kind of like Dumb and Dumber. Which one?
Well, because if you watch it a lot of times, Bill's the one kind of making. He's there's a
fly in the studio.
There's a fly in the studio.
Yeah, it's good.
He's kind of the one that he opens.
He's trying to keep Ted focused.
Yeah, and he's saying heinous, and he's saying something's afoot. I think he's kind of the one.
I think that was Captain Ahab, dude.
First of all, Ted was the one who said strange things are afoot.
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yes.
So,
but I think Bill is the leader of the two of them. Yeah.
All right, we'll go with that. Yeah. Ted's just the follower.
He is a follower.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just envision you on the playground, you said?
So on the playground.
1989, you'd have been in
fifth or sixth.
Yeah, fifth or sixth.
Yeah.
And then like the teacher's like, hey, time to go back in 69, dudes.
Well, see, and that's probably something at the time. Obviously, at the time, I would have had no idea what the significance of that number.
I have that written down. I will say it later, and I'll just say it now. I've never, for the first 2 years that movie was out, I didn't know that joke.
Yeah.
And maybe I was a sheltered child. I didn't go to the babysitter you went to, but
yeah.
I was in private school, so I had no idea.
I just assumed it was a
I
random
private
number.
School, you would have definitely found that stuff out.
No.
So. But yeah, I didn't know. Like, I'm like, oh, they just like that number. So, but it's like the first time I saw Spaceballs and my dad laughed at that bumper sticker about I love Uranus. And I'm like, why is he laughing? Like,
Why is he laughing?
it's just
What's
one of
so
the
great
planets.
about that planet?
This is
what's
a
so
little
good
off
about
the topic,
Uranus?
but I was doing a class.
So many things are good about it.
I
Thank
figured
you.
about my Uranus.
So I was doing a class. I was doing a classroom visit. I was at a different school.
We just went from Uranus to a classroom visit.
Well, no. I
Watch this tie together.
No, I was at one of the middle schools, and I went into the science class to do an observation, and the teacher had named all of her groups by the planets.
Oh, nice.
And I sat at Uranus.
Ah.
I
But
looked
they
down
call
and
it Uranus now, I think.
I sat down and I looked at the table I'd sat
matter,
at,
yeah.
and I immediately turned into a 7th grade kid, and I was like, I'm the only one sitting at Uranus. And I took a picture of it, and I meant to send it to you guys, but because I thought this
we
is
would
funny.
laugh. Yeah,
We
this
would
is
laugh
funny.
at Uranus.
Yeah.
You should
Lots
have-
of people laugh at my
The
Uranus.
thing is, you should have said something in the classroom because it would have been funny when it was silent and the teacher
Hey
stared
kids,
at you.
I'm at Uranus. Isn't that funny? Everybody?
Everybody? No.
No?
No.
Okay.
All right. Then you just go skibbity toilet and everybody's like, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Ohio Riz.
Sigma.
Uranus, my anus jokes in elementary school, and we're off to jail.
Explain that to the HR.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I saw this first time Theodore. I thought it was hilarious. What am I in 1989? I'm 13, so I seem to be
Middle
a
school?
perfect target demographic for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, would have been in 8th grade.
Yeah.
This seems like the perfect demographic for this movie. like you couldn't have got a better person in the audience.
Ridiculous.
The 13-year-old Dave over here. Yeah, woo. If there'd have been a boob shot, it'd been the perfect movie of all time.
That's true.
So-
This didn't have any gratuitous boob shots.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We're at the late 80s, moving in the 90s. Maybe they started
And it didn't really have a ton of profanity.
No, there's not
shit.
really. Yeah.
We had one.
But that was in.
we had one.
That was in French was the shit. Shit.
Yeah,
Merde.
that's right. Yes.
He says merde. That's
Merde.
shit in French. For our French listeners.
For our French listeners out there.
I speak a little French.
And it had one. It had one homophobic reference.
It did.
That didn't.
That has
you know,
not aged
that has
well.
not aged well. But other than that, it didn't have a ton.
No,
of,
you can just
you know,
rewatch it and have fun with it.
yeah,
That's
there's
good.
not a lot of. There wasn't blood.
Yeah.
It's a
But
good, good
even,
family movie.
Even at that age, though, I understood what the movie was. And look, I know what it's supposed to be. And it's just funny and entertaining. This is not supposed to challenge you intellectually. So,
Oh, but Rob likes the heady movies.
I know.
We haven't gone to the heady movies in a while.
we need to, yeah.
I'm sure he's going to spin it so it's got some dark cultural background
right.
to it.
So, Rob's already said the
That's
next
not
movie we
true.
do needs to be like Dead Poets Society.
It's got to be a real thinker.
Yeah, so many people will tie into that.
Yeah.
So many people will tune in. They'll be
Oh,
like,
I have great fond memories of Dead Poets.
it'll be a highest rated show ever.
That's right.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
An hour and a half about Dead Poet Society.
Poets Society. Well, it's heady. So it's either that or Philadelphia. You choose. So
No, yeah.
poetry or
Cover some
AIDS.
soft topics.
These are our options.
Yeah.
So yeah, but so I thought this was awesome. This is one of those saw at the theater and then rented it so I could watch it as well. I think I got it on a video cassette.
Ooh.
I think maybe it was like a Christmas present or
I don't know.
birthday or
Why do you say it like that?
Some sort of time.
A Christmas present?
I didn't say it like
You did say it like that.
birthday
A
or
Christmas present? I believe.
Perhaps I got it on Boxing Day.
Yes,
I do not
I
know.
believe. Yes.
I enjoy St. Christmas Day. So
St. Christmas.
if you're gonna say it, they probably appreciate if we say it right for once. Right?
Perhaps Father Christmas brought it to you.
Father Christmas did. Papa, what did I get?
You've got the Beatles.
A surprise goose in the window. Are we having some figgy pudding?
Yes. See, now he's willing to do the accent.
we-
A while
yeah.
ago,
I
he
know.
didn't. A couple
Give him a
shows
chance
ago,
to
he
do
didn't
an
want to do
accent.
I
that.
know,
wouldn't
that's
even do
right.
it at all. Now
I
it's
know.
just flowing like
I wasn't feeling it. I
flowing
wasn't
like
feeling the
wine.
motivation.
Oh, okay.
Now
Now
I do.
he's.
So now
We just had to talk about Uranus first.
talk about
That's right. Loosen me up.
Yeah. We loosened Uranus. Nothing like loosening Uranus.
Wow.
All right. Well, it's the most excellent, bodacious, and definitely not heinous time this week as we jump into a phone book and head back to San Dimas to experience Bill and Ted's excellent adventure. So no mainstream songs, but like a cool album, like of cheesy 80s rock songs, right? Like that one right there, that has a little Hagar feel to it, doesn't it?
I would have said that was Hagar.
I don't think it is. But
We're gonna go to the booth.
We're
Find
gonna
out.
Kip and the boys, you gotta look it up.
He's sending Kip a message.
Kip,
Papa.
I need something. Is that what he calls Kip?
He calls
Papa?
Kip Papa. Yeah.
Father,
Please, sir.
See, I thought Kip would be calling him that,
No.
but no, they like the
Yeah.
like it the other way.
He's a little more dominant than Rob. So. All right.
Goodness.
Well, before we begin reliving this week's movie, we like to give you, the listeners, the important information about the movie. And for that, we like to toss it over to the movie hound himself. Take it away, Kurt.
Ooh, thank you. Oh. All right, let's see if I can read today. Chances are not high. All right, so Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is an American science fiction comedy film that was released on February 17th, 1989. The movie was directed by Stephen Herrick and written by Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon. The movie had a budget of $10 million and made over $40.5 million at the box office. The movie stars Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, and George Carlin, and a host of other historical figures. We've got Bill and Ted's has a certified fresh Rotten Tomatoes critic score of 82% and an audience score of 75. Nice. Rolling Stone lists this movie at number 85 of the 100 greatest movies of the 80s. Nice. So you should watch it.
There you go.
We got it can be found streaming on Max, the HBO streaming service, if you have a subscription, of course, or you can purchase it on a number of other streaming services. Now, Rob, as Dave tries to remember to wind his watch, can you please do a little segment we like to call Back of the Box? Maybe.
False start.
Well,
now David needs a little more time. He's going to look up when
Wait a
did
minute.
the Mongols rule China as well.
Yes. So let's try that
the
again.
name of the band was Vital Signs.
Vital Signs.
Vital Signs.
Not,
Yes.
It
Okay.
had nothing to do with Hagar.
Nothing to do with Hagar.
Apparently, they're a Pakistani band. That's what, anyway.
Well,
Like you
they're
said,
good.
Weird, odd music.
Well,
anyway,
right.
let's take our vital signs and let's
Take our
move
vital signs
to the back of the box.
Now let's do a little segment we call Back of the Box.
oh my god.
You got 2 intros this week.
That's right.
All right, so now before we hit play, let's take a trip down memory lane and check out the synopsis on the back of the VHS box. You know, that cryptic paragraph filled with cheesy taglines and spoiler-dodging plot descriptions. We're going to decipher the hidden messages and decode this VHS hype. So dust off your VCR knowledge and settle in because we're about to read you the movie synopsis for this segment. Here we go. So Bill Preston, Alex Winter, and Ted Logan, Keanu Reeves, are 2 totally excellent dudes facing one most heinous history exam in the whacked-out, time-warped comedy Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. With the help of Rufus, George Carlin, an ultra-cool messenger in a time-traveling phone booth, the triumphant twosome bag a bevy of historical heavyweights like the bodacious philosopher, Socrates, one very excellent barbarian, Genghis Khan, the short dead dude, Napoleon, and Noah's wife, Joan of Arc, to stage the most hysterical high school project ever. History is about to be written by 2 guys who can't spell in the hilarious hit Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Running time?
No running time.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, no.
I think it's only like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's a short one.
It's a short one. It's in and out.
That's right.
That's right.
Like my honeymoon.
Which goes with our theme of planets today, right? Our planet theme. We're very spacey today.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, if you're new to the show, the 3 of us dudes will take a little... we'll talk a little.
Dudes.
That was forced.
The 3 of us dudes will talk a little about the parts of the movie before jumping into some categories where we'll share our favorite and maybe not so favorite moments from Bill and Ted's. Although I don't know how we could have any not so favorite moments, but you 2 surprise me on a weekly basis. So we will wait and see. So that takes us to casting choices. Everybody knows this movie because of Alex Winter, who plays Bill, Preston Esquire. And then we have, of course, Keanu Reeves, Ted, Theodore, Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Very thespian-ish in this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do we think about the casting of this movie?
It was very good.
Oh,
Very
nice.
good casting.
Very good.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was his whole sum up
that
right
was
there.
it.
He's
That's
done.
good.
Well,
Yeah, very good. Go.
No,
We did some in-depth work for this
Yes.
episode this week.
Yes.
Very good.
When we get to the other, there's another segment we talk
Oh,
about.
yeah.
But I did struggle with finding alternatives. Like this is I did find some alternatives that were possibly. I saw that Pauly Shore.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Gross.
And then right, Pauly Shore.
I saw 200 to 300 young actors auditioned. Pauly Shore being one. River Phoenix.
I saw Sean Penn.
Sean Penn. Brendan Fraser. Oscar winner. Brendan Fraser. And it says on here, originally Bill and Ted were supposed to be dweebs, like nerds, like Wyatt and Gary in Weird Science. That was the vision. But Keanu and Alex were so likable and cool, they had to change the tone of the script to reflect that they were cool dudes. They couldn't Keanu. They literally said Keanu can't play a nerd. This doesn't work. No. So basically, they had to make them kind of cool and relatable. And so they're slackers, but everybody kind of likes them. You know what I mean? So, but that was the vibe they gave off. Yeah. So they, instead of being nerds, they became kind of cool guys.
That's right.
I found a note that said Bill and Ted began as a stand-up act in which the characters would discuss current events without knowing what they were talking about. It originally included a third character named Bob, but the comedian who played him lost interest after a few performances. So this was a stand-up comedian act.
Yeah, it was the two writers of the movie. Yeah.
They wrote it in college.
And they wrote it in 4 days on paper.
I saw that.
What else would they write it on?
Well, they had typewriters.
On a typewriter. It was 1989.
Yes, they did.
But they wrote this in like 82?
On notepaper during a series of meetings at local coffee shops. Nice. Did you see that Arnold turned down the role of Rufus?
No.
I was going to say, I saw that on Reddit. I was like, I don't know if it's true or not.
I found it on IMDb.
I find that one hard to believe.
I don't know.
Okay.
I also saw
me. Could you see that?
He wouldn't fit in the phone booth.
Yeah. This is too small. I can't go back in time in this thing.
What if he did the whole golfing scores are down, bowling averages are way up.
But the first time they say something like excellent or anything, shut up.
Shut
up. It's too loud.
Well, we blew it.
He'd go right into the kindergarten cop. Shut up.
Blew it.
When I saw, talk about Rufus. So when filming started, Rufus hadn't been cast. They actually didn't have a Rufus. The intent, if you listen to the dialogue in the movie, the intent was to cast Eddie Van Halen as Rufus. That was always the goal. They wrote it in the script. That's what they wanted. But the movie could not afford him.
Yeah.
They talked to him a couple times, and his price tag was considerably high. Considering he's not an actor, that's weird, but that's fine. Others considered and brought in Charlie Sheen as Rufus, Roger Daltrey of The Who.
Yeah, I saw Ringo Starr was a possibility.
Ringo's my favorite. Can you imagine Ringo?
I saw Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. You imagine Ringo as Rufus? How's it going, Bill and Ted? It's me, Rufus.
It's me, Rufus.
They sent me back to help you to history reports.
with the boopity boppity boop.
Hey, once you guys are done, you think you could use a drummer? I'm a pretty good drummer.
Nope, they've got a princess for that.
First we got to pass the history reports, Bill and Ted. It's me, Rufus. And they should just call me Ringo. That'd be great. But yeah, Sean Connery wouldn't make any sense either.
No.
Like, he would just yell at them too. Hello, Bill and Ted.
Hello, Bill and Ted.
Get in the damn phone booth. But real quick, if you can't afford Eddie Van Halen, who the hell's affording Sean Connery?
They're just sending out offers if you do it for this price.
And could you imagine him getting that script? What the hell am I looking at here?
Well, I found this quote. It said in April 2013, Alex Winter called casting George Carlin's a very happy accident. They were going after serious people first, like Sir Sean Connery, and someone had the idea way after we started shooting of George. The whole movie was a happy accident. No one thought it would ever see the light of day.
I still like Ringo, though. I'm in Wyld Stallyns.
I can play a little.
Be excellent to each other, dudes.
What's a little bit of the boopity boppity boop and the dippity doo?
Oh, so I also saw for casting those 3 future, like the council or whatever they are, the 3 great ones. They wanted ZZ Top.
Yeah. That would have been good.
And so that's who they were supposed to be. But the 3 great ones ended up being the guy in the middle, the biggest guy.
Yeah, Clarence.
He's a member of the E Street Band.
Yeah, he's the saxophonist.
The guy to the right is in the Tubes. And the girl, I believe, to the left was in the Motels.
Yeah.
So, And then Go-Go's guitarist Jane Wheatland is Noah's wife.
That's right.
Yeah, Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc.
Yeah, Mrs. of Arc.
Mrs. of Arc.
Mrs. of Arc.
Mrs. of Arc.
I saw that the two princesses actually came in originally and tried out for Missy and Joan of Arc. And they're like, no,
nice.
you don't get that, but you can be a princess.
That's right.
Well, one of those was not good actress, so they probably made the right choice. Because Kevin Costner that role. That one time she gets to talk, she's
One time
she
she
lived
gets
in
to talk.
1500 England and she had no English accent. Whatsoever.
It was like Rob doing that dramatic reading.
It was 100%. Oh, and we found a thing called a credit card. Did you come from England? And the other girl's accent, I don't know if it's good, but she's doing it.
She's trying.
She's trying. She's making a good effort, right?
I read that in the original script, the time machine was a 69 Chevy van.
I saw that. I was going to throw that in our interesting facts about the
Because
movie.
the movie was originally called Bill and Ted's Time Van.
Well, since we're going to already go there, we'll jump out of casting, jump into interesting facts since you two are just tossing them
Well,
around.
I had to go with it.
There you go. So
Interesting
yes,
fact.
you are correct. The original title about the van. So, but why did they not do the van?
They thought it was too close to the DeLorean,
Back to
but
the
then they
Future.
went to the phone booth because they didn't know Doctor Who in '63 went with the phone booth.
They literally said, we have no idea what Doctor Who was, so we're like, we're just going to play stupid on this.
And
one.
I have to be honest, after I wasn't a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah.
Like I didn't watch it. I didn't realize there was a phone booth involved. Later in life, I discovered Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember watching it going, wait,
Yeah.
Bill and Ted use a phone booth.
They stole that.
Yeah.
They
But
stole
never
that
made-
from Bill and Ted.
But they, yeah. Wow.
They went up
Yeah,
to
no.
Benedict Cumberbatch
Yeah.
and they said, excuse me, Benedict.
Excuse me, Cumberbatch.
We want our
Excuse
phone
me,
booth.
governor.
What is it? The TARDIS?
The TARDIS?
I think that's what they call it.
I don't know. I don't watch Doctor Who.
I've never seen
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Nerd alert. So I saw, when you're talking about the original, what it's supposed to be, the original idea was, and I watched a YouTube with the two writers, their original version was they were supposed to go back through time and they screwed things up because they're Bill and Ted, and they caused every bad thing that happened in history. So they caused the Civil War, World War I,
the plague.
But then they said, as we're writing it, we're like, well, if they caused every problem, they would have had to have caused the Holocaust. And they go, that's not going to play well in movies. And so they changed it up a little bit. And so they didn't make it to where they caused all the problems. So, and in the original script, they were supposed to bring Hitler back to modern day San Dimas. But again, the studio read that and was like, I don't know if that is good.
I think they made a good decision keeping that out.
Hitler got swapped to Napoleon, and that's how you got Napoleon into the script. So, but the original script also had Julius Caesar in it, and they didn't mess with him. Babe Ruth was also in there. They thought Babe Ruth would have been funny, but then the studio didn't like that either. So they took that one out. So in the end, they went with the guys that they went with and girl. So they had, and then they were supposed to help cavemen invent fire so they could smoke weed with them.
Oh, yeah.
But again, the studio didn't know if smoking weed was the message they wanted to send.
That's right.
In 1989, so they didn't get to do it.
Yeah.
So although when they do go back in time and they see the cavemen, when they leave, the cavemen are the only ones that are genuinely scared that they like run away. So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So. Did you notice the T-shirt Ted wears in the whole movie?
Yeah, it was a Van Halen.
It is a Van Hagar T-shirt.
Oh, it's Van
very
Hagar.
upset about
That's
this.
right.
5150 is from the '86 album, and definitely Sammy's goofy butt is on the shirt for no apparent reason.
No reason.
For such great rock fans, I would have think they would have held true, but poor Ted. He got stuck with a Hagar T-shirt, and I would be even worse if that was like they went to that concert and he pulled that T-shirt out of that concert. So, but he wears that T-shirt the whole time. So. I also like that on the back of Bill's shirt, it says Preston on the collar so that he doesn't lose his shirt. I don't know.
That's right.
Exactly.
Nobody else wants to take it.
But Bill and Ted's Time Van changed to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Probably a good swap. They probably did a good job there. I still would have liked Ringo. I keep thinking about that. I just think it would have made it more heady, as Rob says. More heady Ringo in there. Just having that accent brings it up 10 notches. Oh, this is smart.
This is smart.
Let's see. Warner Brothers owned the rights to Bill and Ted's. They dropped it. Also around the same time, Warner Brothers had the rights to Home Alone and dropped that and Bill and Ted's at the same time. So whoever was in charge of Warner Brothers at that time should have been fired, because they've got some explaining to do for what they lost out on.
That's right.
These two scripts are terrible.
Yeah, we can't make these. They'll never do anything.
He just sits there staring after they're both made. Oh, hey, Bob, you're fired. Go away.
Go away.
You got any other interesting facts?
I got one. It was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Science Fiction Film. But I thought it was weird. It was nominated for the 91 award, but it lost to our last movie episode, Total Recall.
Wow.
I feel a stretch that this is science fiction anyway, but that's fine. They got to put it somewhere.
Time travel is not science fiction?
Maybe not the way they do it. So.
Should we go with historical fiction?
Yeah, possibly. And did that award show not exist until 91? Is that why there was such a gap?
Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't look up the history of
Maybe
the Saturn
got
Award.
Honorable,
I just went far enough to see who actually won.
You're nothing if not prepared.
That's right.
It, so.
No, just nothing.
The guy who produced it, listen to this group of movies. You're going to be impressed, Kurt.
Okay.
Because I know how much.
I hope my socks go flying off.
They should.
In a fit of joy.
They're on too loose. The producer produced Flash Gordon.
Great
Conan
soundtrack.
the Barbarian.
Ooh, that's my good jam.
Halloween 2 and 3, Season of the Witch, and Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, yes.
So that guy did all those movies, then jumped into Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That's why Bill and Ted's is so good.
Because of his background and
in awesomeness.
Oscar-winning movies.
That's right.
Like Maximum Overdrive. So
I had we were talking before about the iconic arm gesture.
Yes, the arm gesture.
That his holding one hand on the chest while raising the other arm in the air was a spontaneous reaction, as it felt natural to him.
Who did?
Alex Winter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so when he did that was not
Hand
planned.
over heart go.
And that's forever.
Forever.
Forever. Anyway.
And what was Alex Winter famous for before Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I don't know.
Oh,
being Mrs. Winter's baby boy.
He was part of the goon squad for Kiefer Sutherland in The Lost Boys.
That's right.
That was his big break, and then he rolled into this one. So he was a vampire, time traveler. He's got some good. Those are good parts. He's done a good job. So this movie takes place in San Dimas, California,
but shot in Arizona.
Shot almost exclusively in Phoenix, Arizona, which. If you look at the backdrop after I know that, it does start to look like, because like the police station has like a Western feel to it. That wouldn't be like in a suburb in San Dimas. It wouldn't look like that. But in Arizona, it would look like
and
the
at
OK
one point
Corral.
You see some cacti.
Yes, cacti.
And those aren't native to California.
They're not.
Yeah.
So the armor they wore was actual armor. I saw an interview, and their movements were real. They go, it was really heavy. They go, there was no fake armor or anything. They go, and they filmed in an actual castle. There was no green screen. They're like, we found this castle, and they had this armor inside, and the director's like,
sure,
use our MIDI. Yeah.
Put it on.
Heavy metal.
Whoa. Just roll down the stairs in it. We don't care.
Yeah. That's perfect.
They said dude 70 times and excellent 30 times.
You went for a count, huh?
There you go. Just in case
Did you
anybody
actually
wanted
count,
to know.
or did you let somebody else count for
No,
you?
I found that online.
You could have just taken credit for it.
No, I can't do that.
I can't.
I already take too much credit for other crap
If
I
you,
don't write. So.
if you had said you counted, I was going to go, I counted 71.
Because one day somebody's going to fact check our stuff and go,
Yeah,
wait,
that's
you
what
didn't
they're gonna
write
do.
that.
That's what people do. Hey,
They're gonna shut us
after they
down.
listen to Dave, Rob, and Kurt, they're like, I better go check this out.
There's some department somewhere
There's
going.
a chance they could be wrong.
Our file's coming across their desk here real soon.
Real soon.
Yeah,
What's this?
we need you to research this podcast.
Everything they've said, look it up.
We need you to go and study these three guys talking about Uranus. That's what we need from you. All right. Okay.
All right.
And I want it on my desk by noon.
Yes. All right. 3:00. Okay. Nintendo fan named Kenneth Grayson won the phone booth.
I saw that.
It's part of a promotion in the Nintendo catalog magazine, whatever it was, for a new for the actual Bill and Ted video game coming out in 1991. So Kenneth Grayson still owns that phone booth from everything I could find.
Yep.
Wherever Kenneth Grayson is.
I was going to say, the only thing I found was that they interviewed him one time, and just about the only thing they could ask ask him questions about was any sexual exploits inside the phone booth that
If you got the booth on the victory of the Nintendo sweepstakes, is your first act to have sex in the booth?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. No. All right.
That's not where you'd immediately go.
That's not your first
That
thought.
seems cramped. Sounds like a plain bathroom. You don't want to do that there.
I mean, I don't want to go into a whole like illustration.
Oh, here we go.
There's ways to do it.
There
yes.
are positions you could
Still
utilize.
not comfortable.
I mean, you got the wall, so there's some bracing at least.
Well, and let's be. Well, I think I know
bracing.
most of our. I
This
think most
is
of
going
our
well
wives.
now.
I know
Yeah.
most of them,
Yeah.
and I think there would be an initial issue with unsanitary conditions.
That's fine.
Like this.
That's good.
This phone booth.
You got to
is
Windex those
disgusting.
windows first.
I would.
We need to wipe this down first.
I'll throw a towel on the floor. We'll be fine.
Oh, for the single tier.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh wow!
All
Yep,
right,
I
so-
believe there's going to be some people that hate this so far.
Hate all of it. All right.
Went from Uranus to a single tier again.
Oh.
Towel on the floor.
The good thing is only the three of us know that, so I think maybe we're okay. So unless someone else can decipher it, yeah, I'm looking on the.
That would immediately be followed by like, you wanna go into the
Phone booth?
little phone booth, and then it'd be go here.
Is that
here?
No,
Here?
Let's
Now?
I don't
That
need to
would-
make a call.
Yeah.
So let's go back. So real quick, let's go back to 1991. All right, let's go back to 1991. We don't have wives. You win this phone booth.
Yeah.
Is this now a pickup line? Like you're out at a club. Hey, girl.
By the, he just said it's 91. I was
know.
11.
It
I'm
doesn't
not
matter.
at a club.
You're fine.
When I'm at the
Fine.
7-Eleven with my Slurpee.
At the playground.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Hey, ladies.
Slurpee.
when
Hey,
I'm trying to
ladies.
have strange things afoot at the Circle K.
I have a phone booth.
I have a phone booth. Bill and Ted's phone booth. You want to go back in time? Like there's
Abraham
things you
Lincoln's
could do.
been in this, baby.
That's right. So, Socrates, all
Socrates.
of it. It just feels like a pickup line.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this, but I have Bill and Ted's phone book back at my apartment.
Do you want to see my Socrates Johnson?
Oh,
Do you want to see my broken antenna?
those don't sound like the good pickup lines. So, when I was watching in the classroom, because I like Mr. Ryan's classroom, he seems like a good teacher,
Yeah.
right? So I was watching in the classroom, the 4 categories they had to cover, because what they said for their project is they had 4 categories. They had to get 4 historical figures from their categories to talk about what they thought about life in the 20th century in San Dimas.
In San Dimas, yeah.
Right? So the categories, I paused it. I'm real good with the machine. And
The machine.
I was able to see the blackboard. And the 4 categories were ancient, medieval, modern, and American history. So those are the 4 categories.
They did it.
And underneath all 4 categories, they list all the characters they actually go pick up with a few exceptions. So every character they picked up is there. But there's also Julius Caesar's on the board, and then didn't go after him. They just said he was a dressing dude.
Yeah.
Right? General Custer's on the board. They didn't go pick him up. Cleopatra is up there. Henry VIII is on the board. They see Henry VIII. He tries to chop their heads off, but they didn't pick him up. They left him in England. So they just wanted the royal babes. That's all.
And then all of those people were picked up later in Night of the Museum.
Oh, okay.
Right?
General Custer.
Yeah, right? Wasn't he in there?
Well, Cleopatra
Custer was in there?
I thought it was the
No, it wasn't
dude.
Custer. It was,
It was Custer.
I thought
Bill Hader
Custer-
plays Custer.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, see? So
It's close.
it's close.
Seems
Little-
to be
little crossover.
certain figures that have to be picked up.
That's
That
right.
would
Like
be funny.
historical figures when you're talking about history. It's weird.
Weird.
They picked up 7 people. There's more people. There's other figures.
No.
I just wonder. I'm like, you can get anyone. That's why I think the board's significant, because Bill and Ted are just going off of names they saw on the board. Because if you were really doing a historical thing, are you really picking up Freud? Like, is that really that important?
Frood.
Dennis Frood. Are we really getting him? I just don't think he's the first one I would go to.
I just have a problem with the class itself.
Oh.
It is very wide ranging in
It is.
topic.
They're covering
Usually
a
you
lot
have
of
like
topics.
American history as
No.
a class.
Look.
It doesn't go from the beginning of time.
First of all, Mr. Ryan is very thorough. He's getting all of the information in. So
All the information in one quarter.
1 quarter. We don't know. This could be 2
It
semesters.
could be semesters.
All right. They could have been in there a couple of times. We
It's a
don't know.
year-long
that, so.
project.
But yeah, so hey, look, Mr. Ryan, successful teacher. Let's not question his tactics.
Well, and
I saw the
there's-
football guy at the doing his
He did a great
speech.
job.
It's not great.
He might have
and-
been, when I saw the grade sheet, there was a C minus. He might have been the C minus.
And I think one might argue that Missy and
No,
Mr.
we'll talk about Missy and
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Ryan.
Mr. Ryan, I
There's
think
definitely-
Missy
Uh,
has a thing for the older dudes.
I think
Missy's got a lot of things
I think
going on.
Mr.
and
Ryan.
she cannot make a grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh, no, she cannot.
Those things were burnt.
That is in my questions about, she just burnt the snot out of those things.
I just put, can we talk about the grilled cheese sandwiches?
You can't talk about the grilled cheese. I'm like, Missy, come on. If there's one thing you should be able to make, it's grilled cheese.
Those are not her
it was
qualifications.
rough. No, that's not what she's there
No.
for. She can garden, though.
Apparently.
Good at gardening. She's good at driving kids around.
Yeah.
So
That's why she's around.
that's what she's around.
It's the gardening and the digging.
So that'll take us into our questions.
Yes.
About moments in the movie or plot holes.
Yeah.
Now, I know this sounds blasphemous, like there would be
Blasphemous?
no problems. I just want to lead with, I love this movie. I think it's awesome, but I'm definitely overanalyzing it at this point. So here I go. I'm just going to go with the obvious. The time travel questions itself don't make a lot of sense. And here's what I'm going to start with. Why does Rufus even have to go back in time at all? The future is already set. The whole thing is set on them being a band. So something should have, for him to have to go back, something should have happened, like a ripple in time should have happened where they always passed that history report. And now for some reason this time, something has caused them not to pass the history report because otherwise the future would have never been where it was in the first place. So it makes no sense why he even has to go back unless there was a ripple in time. Did somebody else that they don't tell you about go back before Rufus and plant the seed of military school in Ted's dad's head? The dude from the second one, Bogus Journey, Denomulus, is he already trying to screw things up in the first one? They just don't show him. But the point is there needed to be some sort of ripple in time or it makes no sense why Rufus even has to go back because future's already going.
Right.
And they're already a band. Now this is high school, so they would have never got past that part.
Right.
So I know I'm getting a little into the
That's all right.
sciencey fiction
Science.
part.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
I want to know,
yes.
how does one fall out of their suit of armor?
Oh, okay.
That's what's funny. How did you get out of the
Those
suit
are-
of armor
Those are
without
the
it coming apart?
hard-hitting questions I want to know.
Without it coming
it's-
completely apart.
That's
It's
right.
really
I fell
funny.
out of my armor.
He just shot out of his...
Well, and then what did the guy that stabbed him stab to make him feel like he stabbed something?
Well, he
Right?
got through the armor, so that was.
But I got that. But once
You
you're
would
in the
know,
armor,
right?
nothing's
You
in
would
there.
feel that
When
was
you just
empty.
stab it and go, oh, there's nothing there. But he felt like he
So
really
are we led to
stabbed
believe
it.
he came out the head hole? Like he just popped
it-
out and rolled?
So it's funny you say that. When that happened,
And his helmet stayed on.
yeah.
Yes. The arms
So-
didn't come off. They stayed attached.
That's right.
When we watch that part, Connor goes, "It doesn't work like that." Like, that's what he said. And it's just like, no. He goes, "No, that doesn't make any sense." So, anyway, back to some time travel stuff because the armor is important. Why can they go? Why
Back
can
to
they
the time
go?
travel.
Why can they go anywhere in time to pick up people? But the clock in San Dimas always
Keeps
runs. Why wouldn't they be able to just go back in time for 2 years, learn a whole bunch of history, and then come back to the present and give their history report?
We need the textbook.
So,
Circuits of history.
It's I just don't understand the San Dimas clock. Why would it still run? And does Rufus actually help them? He shows up, gives them the phone booth, and takes off. If you're really wanting to secure your future, Rufus should just probably hang out with them and go, pick that guy up. Let's get that guy. Rufus is much smarter than them.
Yeah, I don't think he was overseeing the project as well.
He didn't see it at all.
Like
he showed up, gave him
He's
the
a
phone
hands-off
booth.
kind of manager.
Yeah.
He took him to France once, and then he goes, "You're on your own. Have at it, guys."
He's probably hanging out with the cavemen,
Yeah.
smoking
Maybe.
the devil's
Maybe.
lettuce.
The devil's lettuce.
And no butterfly effect whatsoever
No,
for
not at all.
any of these things.
No.
Everyone goes
And
back.
My
Perfect.
thing is, when they land in these phone booths, people are not overly shocked in times. They carry Socrates out of Greece. Not one person's concerned. Oh, that's fine. We're not worried about it.
And Napoleon gets bombed into a
Napoleon
crater and then disappears.
Napoleon sees a phone booth appear. He sees these random people walk out of it. He's never seen a phone booth in 1804, whatever this is. And then his first initial reaction is not to be worried about it. What is that? Blow it up. That's
Blow it up.
Yeah. No questions. So, or speaking of Napoleon, they go to Ted's brother, Deacon.
Yeah.
Here, take care of this guy. 50-year-old dude laying on the kid's bed. Here, just watch him for 2 days. Deacon doesn't ask any questions.
He does it.
Doesn't worry about any of it. All right, I'll take him to ice cream. That's fine.
He was a dick.
He was a dick.
He was a dick.
But just
Speaking of Napoleon.
Deacon's acceptance of this is Napoleon. Okay.
Are we led to believe also that Napoleon would have been allowed into the park and that into the swim park, into that see-through nightgown?
Because when he had that on,
you
Connor
clearly
goes,
could see his ass crack. And
Connor goes, where did he get that? I go, that would have been his underwear under his clothes from the 1800s.
People didn't stop him.
And I go, there is nothing else under that thing. So yeah, you're going to see the whole world.
Yeah.
And he does. He runs around.
And they let him in.
And then, of course, right after that, because my son can be a bit of a smartass, he goes, well, then where did he get the swim cap from? Was that under his...
He just stole it from somebody else.
I also have that question as to then who helped him with the swim cap?
Yeah.
He willingly put it on.
He put it on.
He didn't fight him.
Nope.
He was... Anyway.
He didn't fight lots of things. He just started bowling.
That's right.
He just, like, this is my thing is they never ask too many questions.
That's right.
Like, even Socrates gets abducted. He adapts pretty quick. Billy the Kid's like, all right, let's go to England. That's fine. I don't care.
When they're in the mall and they're coming up the top of that, and they're just so nonchalant. They're going, Socrates, watch your
robes. Yeah, I love that.
They're just like,
someone else says that don't get sucked under.
Yeah. They're just so nonchalant. They don't care.
So Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address in 1865.
Yes.
In this movie, they say they pick him up in 1863. But then at the report, he says 7 minutes ago, or whatever that thing is. So did 2 years before Gettysburg Address, is he just already working on the speech? And so he's testing out in St. Demas?
maybe that's what, he was.
So,
he was inspired.
To go with that, it was when they picked up Genghis Khan, on the little screen card, it said 1209. The report, Bill says they picked him up in 1269.
Correct.
Genghis Khan died in 1227.
Yep.
And the Mongolian Empire was ruled by Kublai Khan, the grandson, in 1269.
Yes.
Nice job.
So he got all his Khans mixed up.
Look at you.
Yeah, that was good. That's good fact checking.
Dr. T over here.
You take some lessons on the in-depth study preparation.
Do not.
All right.
I hit copy and paste.
All right. So here's where Rob was talking about a few minutes ago. I'm gonna give you the question now. What is going on with Missy? Right. So Ted makes a couple comments. Ted says, "You remember when she was a senior when we were freshmen?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're seniors now. So we're looking at a 3-year window, and now she's married Bill's dad.
Yep.
But here." So when did she marry Bill's dad? Like right after she graduated or a year later or something? So it's pretty young. She might be 20. Do we want to go 21? Possibly. But here's my favorite part of the movie. Well, it might be my favorite part of the movie. One of my favorite parts. So she brings the burnt grilled cheeses up there. The dad comes in. Everybody's in the room. He then gives them money and says, hey, run and get something to eat. They leave. He closes the door. He definitely had sex with Missy on Bill's bed. Like, he couldn't even go to his own room. Why are you doing it on my
Already
bed?
stealing my stuff.
I know.
Expand.
No, it's categories
Oh, it's
later
fine.
on.
We'll get that. I'm just saying, when I'm discussing Missy in general, I'm like, really? And the look on Bill's dad's face is insane. All right.
He's excited.
If there's a cringe moment in this movie, that's the cringiest
cringe
one
moment.
where you're just the dad, the way he's going,
God.
oh, yes.
That's mine.
That's why he eats the burnt grilled cheese.
But she's your mom, dude.
Shut up, Ted.
Shut up.
He said, remember when I asked her to prom? Shut up, Ted.
Oh, man.
Are we to believe that when he was a freshman, Ted asked Missy to the prom?
Why is
came
a
up with those
freshman
guts?
asking someone to prom? You can't go to prom if you're a freshman.
You imagine the guts on that?
I didn't think you could go as a junior.
Oh, yes.
I think
that's
we've told
true.
that story.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Some schools are different. They have junior, senior proms sometimes.
Girl asked me to the prom, and I was like,
I can't go.
Well, then,
Yes.
so that takes
you
us back.
silly woman.
That takes us back to
Can't
Missy
go
with
to
Mr.
prom.
Ryan.
Yeah.
So she says, tell him hello.
Yes.
That's right.
And then later when she
she
smiles
sits-
at him and that look on his face.
Oh, yes.
That look on his face.
Yes.
We know how she got
First of
her
all,
grade.
I'm just going to say it. He definitely banged Missy, Mr. Ryan. There's no two ways around this.
That's exactly
he
what
had
happened.
sex with Missy.
Yes.
I don't know if it was during school or right after she graduated.
Because
but at some point,
she lights up too in the bedroom there when he says they've got to do this part. Mr. Ryan.
Oh yeah, she's all in on Mr. Ryan.
Yes, this is good.
I feel like she wanted to marry Mr. Ryan, but he wasn't ready to divorce Mrs. Ryan, so she had to settle for Bill's dad.
Oh yeah.
So she needs money somehow. She needs a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
right? Because in Bogus Journey, spoiler, folks, she then marries Ted's dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on, but that's what happens. So, all right. Let's see. Ted mentions the Hall of Presidents as when they said, remember we went to Disney World? Well, San Dimas is 27 minutes from Anaheim, so I'm going to assume they should probably be going to Disneyland. I don't know why they'd go to Florida, but who knows? Family vacation. Who it could be.
Right.
Let's see. Deacon. We already talked about Deacon. I like Missy's no reaction when the phone booth hits the backyard. She just goes, there's sodas in the fridge.
Yeah. Sodas in the fridge. Yeah.
She
She has an initial kind of a curious look on her face, but
but not too much.
But then they totally trick her with all the new names.
Yeah,
yes.
She wouldn't have.
No, she would have known.
She have already given the same report with Mr. Ryan? I'm imagining Mr. Ryan.
I
does
think there's
this
a reason
every year.
she didn't have to give the report.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
There it is. I got an A in that class. So
She volunteered.
she had so many. Missy had so many advantages the rest of us didn't have. That's right. So
One question I had in the movie was, what did Napoleon do all night? Because he gets
When
kicked out of the bowling alley,
Yeah.
but he doesn't go to the Waterloo until the next day.
morning.
What does he
What's
do
he
all
doing?
night? I want to know what the backstory of that night is.
don't think you do. He slept in a park or something. Like where's he going?
I just picture him going to a bar, just hanging out.
Now, if you were Napoleon, where would you
Maybe
go?
heading to a TGI Fridays. just watching flair bartending.
Attention!
And then trying to throw the bottles himself.
That's right, yeah.
Yes.
Get out from behind the bar.
That would be a good, like a little mini movie or like another, Napoleon's Night Out.
Just hear it's like Napoleon's Night Out. You hear Coughlin, Flanagan, get him out from behind the bar. No brawling in here.
That's funny.
Or he's like Elf, just like falls asleep in
sleeping
a
somewhere.
department store window somewhere.
That's right. How did he get to Waterloo anyway?
In a museum or
Well, we don't know how far it was from the
I
bowling
know.
alley.
Is it across the street? He's just wandering the town, and then he saw it, and then he, like you said, he waited till she came with a big group to move in with them. He's much smarter than we give him credit for. He's
smart. He
He's
figured
Napoleon.
he figured out how to use mass transportation.
He did.
Mass transit.
I don't know. He's good.
He's good.
He's better than doesn't speak any English.
He hailed
at all.
a cab.
That's right. So
And paid with it out.
Yes.
here's the question I have. I've always had this question. Why is the whole school at this history report on
For the one class.
for the one class? Everyone has to sit through these 20 people giving their history report for 2 hours, 1:30 to 3:30. And is this a Saturday?
Yeah.
Is it like, I don't know what the day is. Like,
And they obviously, so one of the things they do at our high school, they do senior projects and they have to present. But part of the senior project process is you have to present it to your teacher and you're working on it over time. Somebody didn't vet these presentations very well.
No,
they're
like
not.
they should have vetted him. That one kid,
and how
San
did
Dimas High School rules.
yeah,
Football. That's what it was.
Demas
Yes.
High School football rules.
Yes,
By the way,
that's right.
did Billy Madison
Little
later
callback to Billy Madison.
No, not
Nib
a
High School
callback. Billy
football.
Madison stole that
Stole
later
it.
on.
Nib High School football rules. I thought I saw an interview where he said he was inspired. He saw, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So, but yeah, the project, and when they show up, they left the night before just reading about nonsense.
Yeah.
And then
They
had
learned a lot.
An entire presentation ready, like it's a rock concert. They had lights queued up.
know,
They had
they did.
spotlights and music. And I'm like, how did they set all that up?
Well, and Billy
Yeah.
the Kid had a
I don't know.
part. He had a part
He
to
had a part
read.
to read.
So
Yeah, he had-
And they have no trouble with him firing a gun at school.
Oh, that was great.
firing out the
In
lights.
fact, the dude that gave the worst presentation, the football player, in the front row, when he shoots it, he smiles and gives the shaka bra up to the stage. So, yeah, and no one cares that they fired a gun. Even I watch the teachers, and they're just like, okay.
Yep, that's good.
He didn't
It's all
fire
part of
it
the show.
anyway.
It's normal
Yeah,
for
They thought it was a blank, probably.
it's-
Even though the light exploded.
That's fine.
it's pyrotechnic.
That's
It's
right.
cool.
A phone booth disappeared on stage. All right.
It's all part of the show,
We're okay,
folks.
yeah.
It's all
I
part
did
of the
read
show.
though
Oh,
in
okay.
the original script, it was just supposed to be in the classroom,
Oh,
but they
okay.
wanted it to be a grander end to the movie, so they were like, "Let's do it in an
Let's
auditorium."
just do it in
instead.
the auditorium. That's the way it is. The amount of security guards at that mall is insanity. There's
had
like
that down, too.
50 security. No mall has that many security guards. Like at one point, 9 of them are tackling Socrates and old boy in the ice rink. And I'm like, and that's on top of picking everybody else up. And I have some issues. I got that Genghis Khan's trash in the sporting goods store. So they should go after him. what's Beethoven doing wrong? He's just playing the piano.
The guy let him play
store.
the
Yeah,
keyboards.
he pushed the buttons. He started him.
Yeah.
And then
And he got him started.
Like the audience was digging it, and then he got him like hauled out of there. So I don't know what he did wrong. And what did Freud do wrong? Freud literally did nothing wrong. He's just standing around, and then he starts getting chased.
Tell me about your mother.
Tell me about your mother.
Well,
I like if you watch that scene when they're talking to the girls and Freud shows up, his corn dog is straight up.
Yep.
And then as the girls ditch him, he drops it lower.
Very subtle.
I know.
Very Freudian slip.
A little Freudian slip. Yeah. And I like when after Lincoln takes his photo and he's okay, I need the hat and the suit back. And he's like, well, no, you don't understand. These are mine.
These are mine. And so that,
and then he goes running out.
but is that an arrestable offense? They took
I
them
don't
to
know.
jail for that.
Yeah.
Disorderly conduct.
Like all the things that happened at the mall, I just don't think were arrestable
Well, and I like when
offenses.
he goes Lincoln. I know how to spell Lincoln. he was so
pretty
offended by that.
offended.
I know how to spell Lincoln.
So my last question is, they get an A+ on their reports. Did they actually, as teachers, do you feel they actually met the criteria? Because the idea is those historical figures are supposed to say what they thought of San Dimas in present time. If you really listen to Lincoln's speech, he doesn't say anything. It's nonsense what he says. It's true in this time as it was in mine.
Yeah.
Be excellent to each other. I'm
I'm gonna say something that's probably unpopular.
Oh, gosh.
As modern education, right? There's a lot of criticisms of it.
Yes.
And I think oftentimes our modern children, this generation of children, we criticize them for getting participation awards, right? You participated. But sometimes as a teacher, I do think there's something to be said about the effort that they put in
Showmanship.
to create this thing.
All right.
And I think as a teacher, I would look at Bill and Ted and go, okay, the two of them are idiots.
Yes.
They're not going to produce the chances that they're going to produce a quality product that's accurate
Yes.
is not very likely.
Okay.
But they put on a good show.
They put on a good show.
And so I'm going to give them some.
All right.
I'm going to give
We
them.
didn't see the entire presentation.
You know.
Just the
And if
cut shots.
he told them earlier, you failed every section of my course. So if they get an A+, the oral history report has to be worth like 70% of the grade,
right?
70% or more
to get them a C. Yeah.
to get to that C because they failed everything else. So, an A+ hits them there.
we're passing them on. So
Okay.
they that's what I think.
Well,
They
good,
did a
good for you, Mr.
Yeah, I
Ryan.
don't know.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I mean, he did cheer and whatever.
It's
I know.
easier than the paperwork of holding them back.
Yeah, that's right.
Because what he said was he did
because
say,
we're going to hold them back.
to be fair,
They're not going to do anything different.
No.
And we're not going to give them anything different.
He did say to them, I will be fair. Mr. Ryan said, you better do something special.
And
That's what
and
he
they
said.
did.
And they did something special.
They did.
Still didn't make a lot of sense. Again, like you said, what they were doing on stage seemed a little scripted. I don't know when they went over like, okay, you're going to go first, and I'm going to call you up.
Right.
And even Ted started spitting some facts out that you're like, where did that information come from?
No, there
all
was
of a sudden?
obviously a
sequence of events.
script.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
they were
Something was
following.
They had nothing better to do than while Bill was fixing the antenna.
Oh, that's what it was.
In a million BC.
I thought they were just chewing gum, but apparently they were studying.
Right.
Oh, that was another question I had. Why did they have so many snacks in this backpack?
Because
Because he's
they hungry.
They went just to go hang out at the Circle K to ask people questions about history.
Yeah, but Bill's
they've got
dad-
15 puddings.
Yeah. But Bill's dad gave him that $20 or whatever. So I'm assuming Ted just bought a bunch of pudding and gum.
But that isn't very uncommon. Like I do see that with my own
You
kids.
walk around with 15
they
puddings?
always have something. They have food.
Well,
they have
some sort of-
chips. They have something.
Some
that
sort of
back-
thing rotting in their backpack.
That
Yes.
backpack had only the essentials: pudding, gum, and a red
Football.
Nerf football.
Yeah. What
Yes.
else do you
That
need?
was it. That's all you
What
need.
else do you need in high school?
What else do you need? And the book.
books.
And the
That's
one.
right.
No, they had the one book.
The one book.
Yeah.
So
Even though they came out of school carrying 50 books,
That's
they only
true.
needed really one.
that's
That's
correct.
true.
They left the other ones at home. Unnecessary.
Unnecessary. They didn't have the room in the tiny phone
They
booth
did not.
for all 12 of them.
I don't know how they got all the humans in the phone booth.
I was
It
going to
makes
say,
no
that
sense.
when
Oh,
they
I
were
saw
going through
that.
the space portal thing, it was sideways. They could barely all fit just with their legs in there, but
Yes.
now we're supposed
But then
to
they're
believe
all in and walk out.
I read that in like 1959, the record for the number of people in a phone booth is like 25.
So you're on board now.
So this
squeeze
this
that.
is feasible.
Okay.
There we go.
This is feasible.
All right.
It could
Socrates is kind of like two people.
That's true.
So, but Freud was little and Joan of Arc was very little. So it works out.
And Napoleon was off running around.
He was. Yeah, they didn't have to
Abe
worry about
Lincoln's
him.
very tall but skinny.
Skinny.
He
very
fits in
skinny.
a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food wasn't
Did
big.
he have to take his hat off to get in?
Yes,
probably.
He did. I think
He
he
would
did.
pop that hat a lot.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
The old stovepipe
yes.
hat. Yes.
Well, do you have any other questions about the movie? Any other plot holes?
No.
Did it make
Surprised
any
we came
sense?
up with any.
Oh, I know. I had to dig, but it was there. So, well, usually we at this time we go through reviews.
Yeah.
I like to go on and find Siskel and Ebert. I could not find Siskel and Ebert's review.
They
on
did
Bill
not-
and
they didn't
Ted's
bother with it.
Excellent
They didn't
Adventure.
feel it was worth their time.
There's a Bogus Journey review I can find and watch, but as far as Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, there is no record of an actual. Like I went to Ebert's website where they put a chronicle of all his reviews.
Nothing.
I don't have a Bill and Ted's listed, so either he never wrote one, or he thought, yeah, that's a waste of our time.
They
We're
had
not
to do
gonna
the
that.
second one because it
But
was
they
big.
went and saw Bogus Journey. Okay,
Well, that's because the first
studio
one was
forced them.
big. Yeah.
Okay, it was big enough.
Well, and by that time,
Poor Roger.
Or
The
Roger.
studio's like, Roger, you're gonna go watch Bogus Journey,
But I don't want
wanna
to.
watch
I
that.
don't want to.
I shan't.
Shit, do it.
Is Ringo going to be in this one? No, he's not.
No.
Damn it!
So, I found this though, Washington Post. It was the most like high end newspaper I could find, and
You
this
better not
was
steal my bad one that I have.
wait. I found Washington Post, LA Times, and Variety. All gave it a negative review. So,
Okay, I have two of them, so only go with one.
They used, I didn't put the review in. I just
Okay.
they used phrases like, if the director has any talent for comedy, it's not visible here. It's cliched,
Right.
painfully inept, and fails more egregiously and is dumb for dumbness sake.
Nice.
Jokes are flat, not good, not a good movie. So these are just some of the things I saw in the reviews. So that would be, I think, a consensus. But we look at the Rotten Tomatoes now, and they're pretty high. But some of the stuffy reporters in 1989, not impressed initially with Siskel and Ebert. So that means Rob had the unenviable task of finding a good review.
Yeah. So I couldn't find like a what do you call it? Like a good.
A reputable.
A reputable source. So, but I did
Nice.
find a website called doesitholdup.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he says this: overall, I liked Excellent Adventure quite a bit. It's far from a flawless movie, but its flaws end up adding to its charm. The film is fairly well regarded in the film community, but it is the perception of the product of nostalgia, or could a modern viewer watching the movie for the first time get the same experience? The biggest asset to this movie is its characters. You can tell that the writers behind the concept have a deep understanding and adoration of those characters. You immediately like Bill and Ted. They have an infectious affability to them, and this energy permeates through the entire film in all its facets. In a lot of ways, they feel like a singular character somehow split into two separate slacker goofballs. It's utterly unique, and it works wonderfully. The movie obviously has a sense of whimsy to it, and the nature of Bill and Ted accentuate that theme perfectly. It very much feels like a product of the 80s, and you're not going to be fooled into thinking it's something contemporary. Another great aspect of the film is its creativity. There are some wonderfully weird, wacky, and intersecting ideas that are played very well. What would Napoleon do with a plate of ice cream in front of him? What if Billy the Kid met Socrates? We know it's Socrates, and I know. So just so people are like, does he really think it's Socrates?
Of course we did.
Yes.
I had a ton of fun watching Excellent Adventure. This one definitely stands the test of time, and I think most audience will really enjoy the film. It's jovial, wholesome, slurs aside, and you really like the characters. I couldn't recommend it more.
Nice.
Whoa. Yeah, so I thought that
Good
was
review.
Wow.
So that means
So
that
they liked it over there at doesitholdup.com.
That means
doesitholdup.com.
That means the Hound has to have our bad review.
I do.
Somebody had to say this was a bad movie.
I've got a few.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I had a couple because you just
okay.
said both of them.
Yes.
So I will go with, which one do I want to do? I'll use the beginning part of what you said.
Oh, okay.
All right. So it said, this one's the Washington Post. It says the stars themselves are frisky and companionable, like unkempt ponies.
Wow.
If ignorance is bliss, these are the most blissed out kids ever. But because of characters they're playing and the lingo they spout are already out of date, the timing of the picture seems out of whack. It's peddling last year's hip.
Wow.
So I just listening to the way that guy writes, I already know he sucks. Like the reviewer
He sucks.
Like you were not meant to watch this movie and think any part of it's good.
Yeah.
Like as a reviewer, just take the movie for what the movie is and not like, this does not have. I watched Amadeus and it was blah blah blah.
And that Beethoven was better.
Da da da. And you're like, Dude, it's Bill. The title tells you going into the movie. Like no one walked in there going, "Oh, I hope this is hard hitting." It's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Like you know what it is. So stop trying to be so serious about it. Right. So, but you know, that guy felt good about himself. He hit that typewriter. This is 1989.
Yes.
And he, you know, my editor needs this before 5 o'clock. Sucks. Boom. Here you go.
I do like another line. He goes, more than anything, the picture looks paltry and undernourished. Even the warts on Lincoln's face look slapped on.
Oh my God.
So that doesn't help him.
Dude sucks, man. Yeah, just get out of there. I didn't see that guy's name, but hopefully he doesn't work at the Washington Post
His name
anymore.
was Hal Hinson.
Well, Hal, hopefully you don't work at the Washington Post anymore. You shouldn't be watching movies anymore either. So, all right. Well, we got our reviews.
He's picking on Lincoln's mole. Come on. What a low blow.
Well, we've got
Chop it up and make some guacamole.
We've got our reviews out of the way. So that means our favorite part. We're going to jump into the categories and our first category, which is our favorite quote.
They're here.
You can't handle the truth.
No. I am your father.
There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
So any really good movie at least has one quote in it that if you say it, that takes you right back to the movie. So we'll start with Kurt. For you, what is the quote in this movie that takes you right back every time you hear it?
I'm going to go with, let's see here, just the beginning of when Abraham Lincoln comes out, and it's the 4:07 minutes ago.
Okay, yeah.
Just that little part. I will say that whenever I'm talking about, 4 and 10 minutes ago, I just told you to do that.
Yes.
So that's the one where it's probably the one I've quoted the most throughout the years.
Yes. Yep. Takes you right back to Bill and Ted. What about you, Rob?
I have to go with the strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
That's a good one.
Because we don't have Circle Ks around here that I know of. I mean, that we might have a few.
I thought
got a lot of Circle Ks.
Do we have some?
I thought when we
Rob,
saw
when you go down the
Wapato
freeway, Zilla's got two of them right across the street
yeah,
from
we
each
saw
other.
the sign on the way today.
They are Circle Ks.
Yes,
they haven't always
one
been,
of them. One of them's a 76. The other one's a Chevron, but they're both Circle Ks.
I can't guarantee anything strange is afoot over there, but they're there.
Oh, it's strange things afoot there.
There's a little town that we had to.
There's one in Ellensburg too.
Yeah, and there's one in a little town called Connell. We had to stop in Connell every now and then.
Definitely strange things afoot in Connell.
Yeah, and I just always remember every time because that was the only place in Connell that you could stop at, and every time I'd stop there, it always is in the back of my head to say, "Strange things are afoot at the Circle K." It's the only reason I know what a Circle K was Bill and Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, mine is they're talking to Socrates. And the first one, and he goes,
Socrates.
He says, "All we are is dust in the wind, dude." And so Socrates looks at him. He looks at him because he doesn't know what they're saying. So Bill goes, "Dust, wind," and then Ted goes, "Dude." So dust, wind, dude has always been. I like when he points at him. He says, "Dude." That's my favorite quote of the movie. Dust, wind, dude. So Noah's wife is pretty good. Who's Joan of Arc? Noah's wife. That's pretty good. For a long time, I didn't know what it was, but the 69 Dudes is pretty iconic, I guess is the best way to say it. So, and You Killed Ted, You Medieval Dickweed.
I like that one.
Is a pretty good one too. So, those would be some other options, but I like yours too. My number 2 was actually strange things are afoot.
My number 2 was a little conversation that I hadn't ever picked up on. It's when they get back to the Circle K the second time and they do their little talk and they say, "Catch you later, Bill and Ted." And then they go, "That conversation made a lot more sense this time." And then as they're getting in, Ted goes, "Watch the gonads, dude." And Bill says, "Abe, you're a tall man." And Abe just goes, "Well, that's the way I'm built." I caught that. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
I've never heard that one before.
That's the way I'm built.
I also liked when they are caught in the castle there, and he goes, "How's it going, royal ugly dudes?" We used to. That's one I remember saying on the playground. Royal ugly dude.
They have kids.
I am the Earl of Preston, and I am the Duke of Ted.
The look on that king's face is like he knows they're just morons. Like, what the hell?
I have 3 written here that Bill said. "We are in danger of flunking most heinously."
Yes.
We are destined to flunk most egregiously, and this has been a most unusual day.
Yeah. So Connor did with the castle. One other thing he had was he goes, put them in the Iron Maiden, and of course they say excellent. And then he says, execute them.
Bogus.
And so they're going to get their head chopped off. And as soon as it shows the heads getting chopped off, Connor goes, that's not the Iron Maiden. He goes, that's that thing with the spikes in the middle or whatever. He goes, so why aren't they in that? And I said, the only thing I can think is when he says, put them in the Iron Maiden and they say excellent.
That was for torture. And then
he
like,
then
nope,
changes it to just execute them.
Yeah.
And then it was because he's Henry VIII off their heads. Yeah. Right. So okay.
The he was a dick line was funny too.
Yeah,
you, know? You ditched Napoleon?
He was a dick.
Yeah. Another one I picked up that I hadn't ever listened to was they had just come out, him and Socrates and Billy the Kid, and Billy, they go, Billy, you're dealing with the oddity of time travel with the greatest of ease.
Yeah, but if you watch Billy, he's just like,
he's like, what who are we going to get now?
Yeah, who are we getting now?
I don't know why I'd never really noticed it, but Rufus has the little dialogue at the beginning.
Oh yeah,
and the part where he goes, bowling averages our way up, mini golf scores are way down. I don't know why that. I just find the way he says it is really funny.
All right. Well, that takes us to category 2, our favorite scene in the movie. We'll start with Rob on this one.
I struggle with this one. I went back to Circle K. I don't know why. I go back to that parking lot scene with them out in front of the Circle K. To me, is a really iconic.
Yeah.
They come back to that parking lot a couple times
when the
throughout
Mongols
the movie.
invaded China?
Goes,
I just work here.
I just work here. There's a lot that happens out in front of that Circle K.
It's a pivotal scene.
Yes.
Pivotal.
If I think of this movie, for some reason, I always think of the dirty parking lot and them sitting on the side, and I don't know. The Circle K is where it's at.
It's where it's at.
It's where it's at.
What do you got, Kurt?
I went with the mall scene.
Oh, nice.
Just
all of it?
It's the whole scene of them being chased around and Beethoven's playing.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan's going crazy.
Yeah.
We've got Joan of Arc doing the aerobics.
She was good.
So
good. Aerobicizing well.
It was the whole thing. That's probably the one scene I remember the most is just the insanity going on all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So my scene is at the mall, but I single out because I laugh every time. So we have all these historical figures. They get let loose in the mall, and you think, what would they want to go do? And what ends up happening is Socrates and Billy the Kid try to pick up two
high school girls
at the mall. I just love the confidence. And Socrates is like adjusting his robes.
He's like, Socrates.
Yeah, he feels like, I feel like his confidence is, I've got a shot here. Like, this is going to work. And they come rolling over, and then Freud, CB, and everybody comes in screwing everything up. Because you see Billy's look when he looks at Freud. When Freud starts, he's like, get out of here, man.
Geek.
Like, we're taking care of this.
What is a geek?
So, and my favorite element of the whole thing is the fact that Billy the Kid and Socrates just became like best buds for life. Like they're just, they're bailing them out in England. Yeah. Every time they get out of the booth, they walk right next to each other. Like they were cleaning together. It's just
my
awesome.
favorite thing that I saw, one of the background things that I picked up on, I think it was yesterday, was the red football. Them just tossing it back and forth as Bill and Ted are talking about the princesses. I just thought it was funny. They're like faking behind the back and they're just playing around.
They become buddies.
Well, when he first
and when they come to the top
Socrates,
when they come to the top of the escalator.
Oh yeah,
you can see him give each other a little like,
because Billy's riding
it like a horse
rail, and Socrates gets off, and they look at each other
on the back and stuff. Yeah, they're buddies,
and they think they're the cool ones. They call Freud a geek. They're not hanging out with anybody else. Socrates, yeah. I just like Socrates' confidence because he's like, "Hey, we're gonna get these ladies right here." So
that's funny.
Now, to be fair, those girls kind of gave him hope for half a second because they smiled, and then but Freud screwed it up. I think they'd have been fine if Freud hadn't showed up because he was showing his wanted poster. You know, $12,000.
Yeah, look, we're famous.
So,
that's funny.
Well, speaking of all of our historical folks, category 3 is your favorite historical figure. Who did they pull out a time that you were like, that's the guy I want to hang out with? Mm-hmm. So we'll start with Rob.
You get to go first.
Oh, I get to go first?
It's your turn to go first.
Wow.
We gotta go around.
First of all, since when do you two direct where this goes?
I'm gonna take charge right here. You're going first.
This guy. Right. I like this guy.
Don't try to get out of it.
So mine's Socrates. I love Socrates. There's just, he's awesome. Like he's awesome. He's BC, but he just adapts to life like it's nothing. English didn't even exist when he was around. He gets right into it.
But
it's
he understood
no problems.
it.
Oh yeah, he's fine. He loves all of it. He loves billiards. He loves basketball, baseball. He loves everything. So, so Socrates is my guy. The robes.
Socrates.
Yeah, Socrates.
I just love it. Socrates. He said it wrong. It's Socrates.
Socrates Johnson.
Yeah, so he's my favorite. So, well, since you two are in charge, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
So
you go.
Yeah,
There we go.
I did Napoleon.
Napoleon.
I think I remember as a kid, him being so funny, the shit,
Yeah.
and the Ziggy Piggy, and the way he looks at him when he takes that last little scoop of ice cream and he looks
Starts
at the
licking
little
the
kid.
table.
Yeah. And the kids are, Waterloo, the whole thing. I think it's
I will say at Waterloo, if you watch some of the opening scenes of Waterloo before Napoleon starts riding around, in '89, that place was unsafe. There were dudes launching off of slides.
Yes,
they're going backwards. They're spinning around on the slide. I mean, there's just got to be like broken bones everywhere.
Those were the good old days when you didn't have safety standards.
Yeah,
what's that one? What's that documentary out there? There's like Action Park or something where it was somewhere in New Jersey and like people were like
flying off of things,
getting hurt.
Oh yeah,
broken bones every day.
Well, that takes it to you then, Kurt.
All righty. I'm going to go with Joan of Arc. She was a memorable character, never says a word.
Nope.
That's true. She doesn't.
Never says a word.
No dialogue.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know, she's one of the co-founders of the Go-Go's.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
She's also in David's favorite movie, Clue, as the singing telegram girgirl.
Oh,
you love that movie.
Not a fan.
I've never seen it.
I mainly picked her just so I could say that.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it would have been Napoleon, but Rob already picked Napoleon. So
you can also pick Napoleon. It's
I know,
fine.
but then I couldn't talk about your favorite movie, Clue.
I thought for sure you'd go with Beethoven, so that's fine.
Why? Do I look like a music lover? If I was a music lover, I'd be the music hound.
That's right.
I found two things about Napoleon. I thought were
Napoleon.
It says, I'm surprised that Beethoven shows no sign of resentment of Napoleon in the film, as he lost his admiration of him when he declared himself, quote, Emperor of France in 1804, which resulted to renaming his third symphony. Originally, it was called Erica. I don't know. Originally titled Bonaparte's Symphony.
To be
in history they had some beef.
Maybe he never got to that point in history when they took it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
he hadn't got to the third symphony. He's only gone through two.
Yeah, and Beethoven and Napoleon really don't spend much time together. They're not together until they hit the stage at San Dimas High School.
I keep forgetting Napoleon kind of had his
Napoleon's
own.
not with him.
He had his own little time.
He didn't get to go to them all.
He didn't get to hang out.
No.
And I also read that Napoleon looks at and tries ice cream as if it's like he's never seen it. But ice cream had been invented 250 years before Napoleon.
But it was kind of a delicacy type thing.
Yeah.
So
But
maybe
the
Napoleon
Ziggy Piggy though, that's
good.
a whole new experience.
I want to try that.
You know, that place reminded me of Farrell's.
Yes.
Yeah. Same straw hats, all the things. So, all right, that takes us to category 4. If that's good with you, Kurt. We'll go.
I'm going to go first, though.
Okay.
Wow.
So our most unbelievable moment and/or scene in the movie, and you're going first. So go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I was hoping.
Yes,
I'm going to go with. There's not a lot of unbelievable parts, but I went with how did Napoleon, who's like 3 hills away and has to use a telescope to see Bill and Ted, how does he get blown all the way over and get sucked down the little time thing?
All right. Yeah, I see where you're going there.
He just flew way too far.
He's little. He
is little, but
yeah, he could get airborne. And we don't know how big of a charge was behind him. Could have been a big cannonball.
Well, then he should have died.
All right. So I like when
Lost
they get out.
a leg or something.
I like when they get out of the booth and you can see his boots hanging out of the tree.
Yeah.
And then he falls onto the lawn.
Yes.
So, well, my favorite, my most unbelievable scene was the police station scene. Because here's what I don't understand. This goes back to the time travel element. So they're doing all this time travel stuff. But in this scene, they're just like, hey, don't forget to do this. Oh, the keys are right here.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget to do that. Oh, that's over there. Oh, duck.
The trash can.
Oh,
I don't
duck.
get the trash can.
Where did it come from? Yeah,
nobody standing there. Did they just randomly
hang
drops.
it from the ceiling? I don't know what happened. And so that whole scene of the way they can bend time. But then they said San Dimas' clock always runs. So how'd they go back and do this part? And then they're like, well, we'll remember to do it after, dude. And you're like, but then after your dad's not interviewing people in the same spot. So I don't know how any of it works. But the police station scene, they seem to bend time, because if they could bend time that way, then why wouldn't you just been at home and gone, oh, let's go pick up Abraham Lincoln. Boom, he appears. Oh, let's go get such and such. They appear. Like, why even take the time to go through time and find these folks? You could have just done what you did there. So the police station scene is a little funky. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Clunky.
Yeah,
little clunky.
and my issue with the police station scene is when they're hunkered down behind that wall. Yeah. And then they do the whole video that, Dad, over here.
Yeah, the cassette recorder.
Nobody sees them.
No. Not one other cop in
and
that
the
station.
room is
full of cops.
and it's
They
nobody.
don't even recognize that the voice is out
It's
there.
the
No.
worst cops possible. I mean,
No, the thing I put as most unbelievable is really it's just a historical inaccuracy.
oh, here we go.
Can you please describe every historical
Yeah, please.
inaccuracy?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
we have
will.
time
In
for that.
detail.
Yeah,
so
let's do that.
so they reference Joan of Arc as they call her Joan of Arc, but in reality,
Oh, here we go.
she never used that title during her lifetime and was not from a town called Arc. During her trial, she called herself Joan the Maid and said that she did not know her surname.
Pop culture has
They
her
call her
as
Joan of Arc because that is what the history book said.
Yeah, but-
correct.
Yeah, but she was never actually
She
known
never
that.
says
Yeah.
anything, so
That's true.
She
So we
never
don't know that. True.
All right.
Yeah, and then most of the historical figures Bill and Ted brought back, did you know this? They died horrific.
Oh,
So several, including Socrates, Joan of Arc, Billy the Kid, and Abraham Lincoln, were either executed or assassinated. Sigmund Freud died by assisted suicide.
oh, nice.
I didn't know that.
He was all done.
And some people believe that Napoleon Bonaparte.
He was done talking about his mother.
That's right.
And some people believe that Napoleon was under house arrest and he was poisoned with arsenic.
Yeah. I mean, a
And
lot of
then-
people wanted Napoleon dead.
That's
so.
right.
But Genghis Khan and Ludwig van Beethoven
Beethoven.
died of natural causes.
Well, good for them.
There you go.
And in Genghis Khan's time, he died when he was like, what, 21 years old?
22, 23.
He lived a full life.
He lived a full life. Like in that scene where they go back to get him, he just attacks that girl. He's like, oh, by the way, our friend Genghis Khan, the henchman in Die Hard,
I
who
was gonna say.
likes to steal the candy bars.
Yes.
He's a sweet tooth. That's why he wanted the Twinkie.
He's a sweet tooth.
When we need
The Twinkies. A go-to.
an Asian American terrorist, he's our man.
He's our go-to guy.
Yes.
Again, no speaking parts.
No. Just need you to grunt and
So, and I've done a
But he
little,
can swing a bat.
I've done a little back research on Genghis Khan. You know, he's like one of the most ruthless people of all time. He killed by average more than any human in history. He murdered people. He would have killed somebody at that mall. He wouldn't have just jumped over people and ran around. That club in the back, that's going against someone's skull because that's all he would have known is like rape and pillaging.
Yeah.
Wham, wham, wham. He wouldn't have been jumping over those guys.
Yeah, that's a different movie.
Yeah, that's different. It takes a dark turn. So
Headless corpses in the mall.
But then when Ted says Genghis Khan was a great leader, I'm like, I don't know if he was a great leader. I think China would have something to say about that. He killed like 100 million people. He's a great leader. So, all right, that takes us to category 5, best location in the movie. We'll start with you, Rob.
I went with one you mentioned earlier is the mall.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, I also had the mall.
Yeah, mall.
The Metro Center Mall.
Yeah, in Phoenix. Nice
The
job.
good feeling of the mall.
Yeah.
Have you been to that mall?
No, it closed in 2020. and they've torn
After
it down.
47 years in business. That's
Well,
too
I
bad.
mean, you've got some ties to the Phoenix,
I
Arizona
do.
area.
Like a family down there. That's why I
Never
don't
made it
go
to that
there.
mall? I gotcha. So.
Love your brother.
But I just wrote skateboards, the
Yes.
mall, food court, skating rink. Like
Let's go back to
it's
that.
got all of the things.
It looked like Clackamas Town
It
Center.
did. Like, and so when and some of the music stores and some of the stores in the background that look like our mall.
It
And
did.
so
Yeah.
it reminds
Good
me
feelings.
of walking
We got
around.
Broadway over here. We got Sears down there.
Kids don't go to the mall anymore.
No.
Malls are closing down.
Yeah,
It's
they're not
it
a
was
thing.
a different. It was something unique to kind of the 80s, 90s vibe, and I liked it.
Love the mall.
I was going to put though other famous mall mayhem scenes
Ooh.
in cinema history. Jingle All the Way,
No.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donder, Blitzen.
Commando,
Ooh, that's a good one.
also an Arnold flick. Very violent. I found it online. It was referred to as a mall brawl.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and then Mighty Ducks, I believe, had a mall
I think
chase.
you're missing a big one here.
Which one?
Mall rats.
Mall rats.
Holy
Yeah,
crap. There's
it was
so much
in the
going
mall.
on. Yeah.
The whole thing was in
They
the
had to
mall.
knock out the thing at
That's right.
LaFour's and Silent Bob and Jay and all the whole
That's
thing.
right. Yeah.
Anyway.
So, the
Well,
mall.
my favorite place was not the mall. So no menage on the mall.
No menage on the mall.
No.
I like the mall, but I went with the Waterloo. I love water parks. I love water slides.
Water bikes.
So, famously, because Kurt knows, because he was there, my first anniversary, marriage to my wife, we went to a water park that day. So,
Wow.
in Virginia.
It's right. It was a good time.
They were there, Aubrey and Kurt. So, they
Nice.
came out to visit.
And
they got stuck for a few days.
Does your wife
fondly look at that?
Look on that fondly? Does she?
She mentions it.
She mentions it?
I don't know if it's fondly. Hey, where was your first anniversary? At the water park.
Oh, that's funny.
The water park.
But we were water sliding it all day. We Napoleoned it up.
We got it wet and slippery.
Ooh, baby.
Oh, boy.
All right. That takes us to category 6.
Yes.
Our worst actor / actress. I think we have something new for this.
Oh,
for our worst actor / actress.
Money now and a lot more when I get in that office. You can take that to the bank.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
I found the Batcave.
We gotta get those locks changed.
She knows who we are.
Guess we'll just have to kill her.
Yep, we'll kill her later. We have work to do.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
All you wanted to do was embarrass me. Well, you did it, okay? Grandfather always said you were a loser. Now you're trying to make me one, and I hate you for it.
Although our friend James over at Bad Movies Rule would not agree with our last quote there. That's a good way to end the worst actor intro is with Michael from Over the Top. So I'm going to start this one.
Okay.
Despite your objections.
No objections here. Yeah. Go for it. It's your turn.
This was hard. I actually didn't have anyone that stuck out like a sore thumb, like, oh, they're just doing a terrible job. Or the one actress that didn't do the English accent, the princess, a little frustrating, but not. So I ended up going with Ted's dad. Played by Hal Landon Jr. I feel like he's just a bit of too much of a stereotype of this overbearing 80s dad. And there's this one part at the end, he's running in with Bill's dad. And Bill's dad says, you need to watch him or something. He goes, hey, I'm sending him to military school in Alaska. Or he said, and he just, the way he delivers, it's really bad.
But he also makes a little dig at his wife.
He does.
He goes, well, if that wife of yours is running around. And
I just think he's kind of over the top in there. Like he's trying too hard to be the tough dad or whatever. 80s dad. So for me, that's what I got. Ted's dad. I'll go with him as my worst actor in this one. So
I went with Billy the Kid.
No, what?
I don't mind his rapport with, but the way he delivers lines, his actual acting, not good.
Oh, okay.
So I wrote down here, I was like, Emilio Estevez just did Young Guns the year before.
Had him right
Come on. We already had your Billy the Kid. Just bring him in.
They can't afford Eddie Van Halen. We're going to bring in Emilio?
Yes.
Emilio. I don't think that works.
That's how you get him to work. You just yell, Emilio.
And by the way, I don't think you bring Emilio in and go, hey, you're going to have like 4 lines.
No, that's good.
That ego won't let that happen.
Also, they can also say, you can also toss this red football.
Oh, yeah. He could have. So, all right. I'll give you that. Well, if you're just doing that, then let's just get John Candy to be Socrates. All right. So.
No, I like Socrates. Socrates is good.
Okay. That's good.
I went with the other dad, which
Bill's
is funny
dad.
that you said it. Yeah, I went with Bill's dad, Mr. Ian Preston.
Oh, nice.
Played by Patrick John McNamara.
Yeah.
But he was known on screen as J. Patrick McNamara.
Good.
Sadly, he passed away.
Oh,
R.I.P.
But I don't know. He's creepy, dude.
He's creepy.
I mean, he's creepy.
Come on. He does the whole thing. He's like, yeah.
But as an
midlife
actor,
crisis, got the young lady.
But as an actor in the movie, he's selling that he's a creepy dude. He's not doing a bad job there. Look how upset you are about it. I think he did a good job.
Yeah. And then he does it in his own kid's room.
I know.
Knowingly.
That one I don't like. Poor Bill.
Knowingly.
Bill's got to come back.
Yeah, no.
Hopefully that.
Change the sheets.
Yeah, something.
No.
Gross.
No. And then
rough.
I was going to put Missy down.
Oh, okay.
But I also, because we already said it, but she would eventually marry Bill's father, Ian. She would marry Ted's father, John.
Bogus Journey, yeah.
And then she would marry Ted's little brother, Deacon.
That is correct.
So what the heck is going on there?
Strange things are afoot at the Logan household.
The Logan household.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, that takes us to our 7th category. And one I don't really have much for, but recast of any characters in the movie. So, and this could be anyone. I said a couple of the supporting characters. I could maybe, like you said, Billy the Kid. They're possibly a little better than that. Ted's dad. Maybe we could have gotten Bill's dad. Maybe some better actors. But I think the idea is to focus on Bill and Ted, so it's not really that big a deal.
No.
Yeah.
Mr. Ryan's pretty good. He was also in Revenge of the Nerds. He was the president of the national chapter of Lambda.
Oh.
When they went to tell him that they were being picked on.
Oh, okay.
And then they all show up. for them to find out that it's an all African American
fraternity,
but then they let those guys in because they think they're cool.
That's right.
Yeah, I didn't. I struggled to recast. I can't. I'm going to read a quote. It's that I think explains why I think it's hard. It said the characters were initially created by Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson as personas they themselves took on before deciding that Bill and Ted could be the heroes of their own movie. Unfortunately, they lost a fair bit of control over the projects as it started to head towards production. And as Solomon described, this led to them standing in a McDonald's shortly before principal photography, complaining about their vision being screwed with. Said the writer, quote, "It was hard for us to imagine who would take the characters over, and we were not involved in the casting process or anything. We were in Arizona where the movie was about to shoot, and we were in line at a McDonald's, and we were actually complaining to each other like, God, I bet whoever they cast is never going to be able to do it the way we hoped," and all that. Eventually, it was during this conversation that Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson's attention was caught by a couple of guys ahead of them, and they had a moment of inspiration that turned out to be something like a message from the universe. Solomon continued, quote, "And then there are these two guys in front of us in the line of McDonald's just goofing off and talking to each other, and Chris and I were like, now these should be the people that play Bill and Ted." And then we ended up on set for the first rehearsal, and it was Alex and Keanu.
Nice.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
So I don't think there was anybody else that could have.
Yeah, I don't have any
that was supposed to play.
I was going to say, I took a stab in the dark of just up and coming people of those years.
Yeah.
I went Christian Slater as Ted, but just because he's already had a couple of movies where he was kind of a skater, surfer type dude. And then I went Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just because I was like, all right, let me see if I can squeeze two people in. But it still wouldn't be the same at all.
Yeah, I don't think it would be as good, but good effort.
I tried.
And there's a website that I go to that helps me with this category. I'm not going to release my resources, but usually they give you like multiple people to recast, and on this one,
beautiful.
The only ones they had were like, but they were modern. So Andy Samberger's Ted, Rufus being, Chris Rock's, Socrates, Bill Murray, Napoleon, Danny DeVito. But they were weak. It was weak.
The way it is.
Napoleon, Danny DeVito.
Yeah. It is weak. Weak all the way around.
Yeah.
So, well, that takes us to our last category. Category 8. Our new favorite category. This is our Harry Temple. I should have stayed in Aspen moment. A moment in the movie when a character knows or realizes their demise or something really bad may occur.
Aspen it is.
So we'll start with you, Kurt. What do you? It was. I think this didn't have a ton of them in it. But
it did not. I went with the security guard right as he's watching Genghis Khan go crazy with the baseball bat, and he just has a look on his face, and then he goes straight to his radio and says, "I need some help.
I need some help." What do you got, Rob?
I said the look on Bill's face just before his dad closes the door to his bedroom.
Yeah.
There's this look back like,
what?
He's like, I know
it's about to happen.
Something sticky is going to happen.
Well, and Ted immediately goes, your dad's totally about to get it on.
As you can see, he's going to try to say something, and then door shuts
the door.
Slam.
So. Mine was Ted's look on his face in medieval England. They're in the phone booth, and he's like, hurry up, Bill, as those guys come swinging the chains. And just before they swing it, Ted's face is kind of like, holy crap, and then they disappear right as it comes through. So that was my I should have stayed in Aspen moment. I'm sure Keanu would have preferred, or Theodore would have preferred to be there at that point. So so that takes us to another little segment we enjoy here. It's called Connor's Corner.
Oh, Connor's Corner. He watches movies. It's Connor's Corner. Oh, yeah.
All right. Last minute effort from my son this week. He graduated high school yesterday. I think he forgot about this project altogether.
He's had some things going on.
So he had to throw this in at the last second. So we got kind of a shortened version this week. But he watched this with me, seen this with me before. This is the first movie we've watched that he'd previously seen. All the other ones we've done, he hadn't watched. So he kind of already had an opinion of it. But he says, although this movie makes no sense, Bill and Ted's is always a good movie to come back to every once in a while and have a good laugh. It may not appear this way, but I think the movie teaches you something to stay true to who you are. Although Ted is under a lot of pressure and on the verge of failing, Bill and him continue to act like themselves even in dire times. They create their presentation in a way that they wanted it, And I think it really contributes to why so many people enjoy this movie. For me, this is a solid 7.5 out of 10. Not the best, not my favorite, but always a classic. And I'll watch it once in a while. So
wow,
there you go.
He does well under pressure.
I was going to say that is good for the 20 minutes.
Wow,
20 minutes.
Well
20
done.
minutes we gave him.
The final hour. So,
well done.
So
yeah, he
really
7.5
out of 10.
performs under pressure.
Yeah,
Good job. Good job.
So that
Connor.
takes us to our final judgment this week. Do you still think this is a great movie? Is this a movie you could watch once in a while? Or, hey, I've seen it enough, so I'm all good now.
As I said earlier, I think this is a movie I will probably watch more now just because I think I've enjoyed it more rewatching it this time around than 20 years ago.
Nice. All right. What about you, Rob?
I go back to the doesitholdup.com review where he said it very much feels like a product of the 1980s, and you're not going to be fooled into thinking it's something contemporary. Like I think it's just, it is what it is, and I don't think they ever went into it hoping to make something that people were going to sit back and go, oh, this is art. This is I think it was fun. It was, you laugh at it. Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's a good movie. I think if I watch it once in a while, I'm fine. I think it's good. I think watching it now again, it's not as funny as I always remembered it being, but maybe I've seen it too many times at this point because I'm almost repeating it as the movie's going along. So I think it's a great, like you said, time capsule encompassing of the moment. I think Bill and Ted do a great job. Some of the other parts now, if you're older and you think about it, they're a little wacky, but that's fine. So, but yeah, I'll watch it when it comes on. I won't go out of my way and be like, hey, family night, let's cue up Bill and Ted. But if it's on TV, we'll sit down, we'll have a laugh. It'll be a good time. So, well, I think that covers everything you would ever need to know about Bill and Ted's excellent adventure. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
Not.
I have a closing thought, but I'll.
No, it is time for your
Is it time for
thoughts.
Yeah, I think we got a little ways to go. Yeah, well, we're going to do here.
No,
Yeah.
we'll go a little further.
That's good.
He's not ready, folks. So since they don't have anything else, this is the part of the show that we go to where we say, hey, if you'd like to contact us here at the show, which we love, you can find us on social media sites. We've said it before, Facebook, X. We're out there everywhere. You can Google us. You can find us. We really do like the feedback. We like hearing from the fans. It's one of the best things of the show is getting some of those responses. Is that a good word? Or observations, things like that. I actually have a couple this week. We got an email from a new fan. Jill is her name. She wrote, I found your podcast because I'm obsessed with the movie Speed. Hooked immediately. After listening to the 99 draft, I was in stitches with your French Mickey Mouse, morphine into Mr. Hanky. Then she says, then came Elmo and I yelled, I found my people. I'm more of a movie gal than music, but your dynamics with each other is hysterical, and I'll be checking out the rest of your episodes. So thank you, Jill. So, but just like anything else, with the good, we get bad, and we don't get a lot of bad, as Rob has mentioned. But this one, I don't know if it's bad. It's just kind of a jab at us, I guess. So this email says, this is the whole email. Less talking, period. Play more music, exclamation mark. That was the whole email. So,
Isn't that the radio?
That was in response to our 97 hip hop, whatever. That was the title of the email. It just says, less talking, play more music.
Which is funny because a lot of other people would disagree with that gentleman or person, whoever it is. It is the number one downloaded episode
you've got.
Yeah, it is
by
ways.
far.
Yeah, far. It's not even close. So yeah, anyway. Less talking, they say.
Yeah,
so.
okay, that's fine. Right. I can do that. I can absolutely do that.
I can tell that person I did not talk once on that episode, so it's okay.
If they did want to contact us, Rob, why don't you give them some other options?
All right, so is this a flashback to middle school cafeteria drama because I already ate my Dunkaroos and this gossip has become most heinous? Feeling like your brain is a malfunctioning hamster wheel of bizarre questions? Never fret, fellow weird dude. Our website is a safe haven for the delightfully strange. Come on down to Totally 80s and 90s Recall at podbean.com and unleash on us like a bunch of sugar-crazed children with a candy-filled piñata. Is your mind a dusty Walkman stuck on Rick Astley? Hit rewind and email 80s, 90s flashbacks to 80s, 90s recall@gmail.com. We'll dust off those memories. Think of us as the knowledge salsa to your information chips.
Nice.
Whoa.
That is
Knowledge
insane.
salsa.
Yeah.
You like that?
That is good.
Knowledge salsa. You got
Yes.
Dunkaroos in there too.
I know. That's good. He amazes me every time.
Dunkaroos.
What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to read my next part.
You do it.
All right. So now's the time I get to ask you to go to wherever you get your podcast and rate the show by giving us 5 stars and give us a review so that we can continue to create bigger and better shows each week. You can also check out the merch store on the website where you can pick up some most excellent items to show off your totally 80s and 90s recall fandom.
Nice. Yeah, you can come check us out.
Yeah.
Buy some stuff.
Be excellent to each other.
That's right. By giving somebody a prezi.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, now, Rob, you can do your...
Oh, yes. So
now we're at that part of the script where it's Rob's closing thoughts.
I try to follow the rules.
Order.
But it was our fault.
All right. So 4 and about 90 plus minutes ago, we, your 3 podcasters, were brought forth upon a most excellent adventure. Conceived by our love of all things 80s and 90s, the 3 of us are dedicated to a proposition which is true throughout history, just as it's true today. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
Party on, dudes.
There you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just like Napoleon at Waterloo, all good things must come to an end. We hope you've enjoyed a trip back to San Dimas this week and looking at Bill and Ted's excellent adventure. We'd like to thank all of our listeners, whether first-timers or subscribers, for hanging out with Rob, Kurt, and I. And if you're looking for more nostalgia, go back to some of our previous episodes. In fact, this time last year, we debuted the 1996 movie The Rock we kicked off our Caged In segment last June.
Ooh, that's when I started.
That's a good one. That was
That's right.
Kurt's first appearance with us. Fun episode. Lots to listen to on that.
There's-
So you should
there's a lot.
totally check it out.
There's a lot. I believe you described it once as a fever dream.
It is a fever dream. It's wonderful. Finally, we hope we gave you an hour or so of some laughs and great memories. And don't forget to tune in for all new episodes of Totally 80s and 90s Recall every Tuesday.
What are we doing next time?
Next time, we are going to count down our top music videos of the 1990s.
We've done the 80s.
We've done the 80s.
Yeah. That's
Now
a
we're
good
doing the
another
90s.
good episode to check out.
We're going to see if we prefer doing the 80s or doing the 90s. What do you think, Kurt?
As long as you do it, it's all
As long
good.
as you do it, it's all good. What was that one quote we used to have? Do it. Something with do it. Something with do it. It was your quote.
Oh, yes, that's right.
If it's long and something, do it, or I don't know what
Do
it was.
it.
Do
Yeah.
it. So, anyway.
If it feels right, do
If
it.
it feels right, do
There
it.
you go.
That's
That's
what it
right.
was. Yeah. So, well, you got anything else?
I got nothing else.
Fancy goodbye?
No fancy goodbyes.
Yeah, so later,
Page to hear the
dudes.
sounds. Please refresh the page to hear.
Please
What is
refresh
going
the page,
on?
y'all.
I don't know. You're hitting
I
other
don't want.
buttons.
We're gonna refresh it. Here we go. It's a big ending.
Was that Google coming back in
I
again?
don't know. Yo-Yo Ma? Where are you?
Everybody rock it. No, you gotta strumming. The slow strumming. I'm not cool enough.
No. As long as you know that.
Party on, dudes.